Hi, I'm Dr. Park, and today I want to talk about how I set up my kids to have successful life, and it started very early age. Every parents want their kids to have successful life, but most of their aspect of success is usually financial, social position, or social status, or accomplishment, and so on. When I was young, my dad told us success in life is having a house full of laughter, and this is only possible through finding the right person to marry. If you find a person that you really love and really enjoy each other's company, he told us you could have house full of laughter living in a rundown house with leaky roof. But if you find the wrong person to marry, you could live in a mansion but still feel empty and miserable. The safest and the best way to learn what healthy, loving relationship is like is by living in one. But unfortunately, many kids grow up watching their parents and think to themselves they never want to be like their parents. And they start seeking for love and relationship outside the house. And this can be very dangerous if they don't have the right perception of what healthy relationship is like. Generally, ladies are more loving and caring than men. And us guys are more free spirit. And I was too before I met my wife. It took a little time, but I realized to make or to break, my family was really up to me. And I had to find a way to show my love better for my family. Briefly, I want to talk about things that I did to show my love for my wife. And this really encouraged my wife to devote herself fully to our family. So real beneficiary here was moi. First, I had to learn what my wife wanted from me. So, what did she want from me? Well, like most ladies, she wanted to be loved. And I knew that she felt loved when I do things for her that shows that I care for her. Things like doing the dishes, cleaning the house with her, vacuuming, and assisting her when she's cooking, washing all the producers and cutting for her, and holding her hands when we're walking. And when we're watching TV, we always cuddle together. And other small things that I did was like right before we went to bed in the winter time, I would lay down on her side first so that it would get a little bit warmer. And when she comes in, she could feel my heat. And she loved that. And also things like in the morning when I wake her up, I usually wake her up with kisses. And that just starts the whole day with the right tone. And when I used to work, I used to call her twice a day, regardless how busy I was. And that just kind of let her know that I'm thinking about her. And especially when she's meeting her friends for lunch, then I make sure I call her. I actually set an alarm on my watch. And to get a phone call from her husband among her friends just brightens her day. And I know a lot of ladies are jealous of that too. And because she's not afraid to cook or to bake because she has me to help her, she did a lot of cooking and baking for us. And we all enjoyed it so much, especially me. She wanted to be beautiful in my eyes in every moment and stage of our life. And me just telling her she looks beautiful didn't help. After having our kids, she was more self-conscious about her looks. So I decided to tell her in details why she looked beautiful when she was pregnant, when she's sleeping, when she's waking, and when she's working in the kitchen, and when she's playing with the kids, and when we're going out, or just sitting next to me. And this really made her feel that she was always beautiful in my eyes. She wanted to be pursued by me. I know many people in their 40s and 50s, they kind of fall out of love and they stop pursuing each other. And most of them will tell you it started after having the kids and the guys are working harder to provide for home. Now, this was kind of same for us. After the kids came into our picture, when I pursued her, she seemed like I was bothering her. And she seemed like she didn't want me to pursue her. And so when I stopped, I realized it was even worse. She was getting very, very depressed. So one day I asked her sincerely, "Do you want me to stop pursuing you?" And she looked at me and she said, "No, don't stop." So I knew she wanted it. I just had to find the balance where I am showing where I'm pursuing her with gestures like kisses, hugs, skinship, and a lot of laughters, but not interfering with her taking care of the kids. That was the key. She wanted to communicate with me. Now this was a little tricky for us because my wife is actually not a big talker, and when I come home from work, she would say like, "So, tell me something," or ask me, "How was your day?" And I get a little nervous here because if I don't have much to say, she feels that I'm not interested in her. So throughout the course of the day, I would actually think about what I want to tell my wife when I go home. So when I got home, I would tell her about my days, and she was happy. Now, at first, this was a little confusing, but I realized she's asking that question because she's home all day thinking about me and wanting to know about my day and wanting to know more about me. So when I realized that, I really didn't mind, thinking about her and thinking about what to tell her when I get home so we could actually have better conversation and more intimacy. She wants a hero to come and save her day. Many of her friends are actually dreaded if their husbands are coming home early, and they actually will leave if they're coming home late and they're eating outside. And the reason being is because when their husband come home, they actually add a workload on top of the hectic day. So, but in other hand, my wife actually longs for me to come home early because she wants her superhero to come home early and save her from the hectic housework. And we enjoy the rest of the day together. And when I'm home, and if I hear my wife struggling with anything, I run to her and I ask her, "Let me do it for you or let me help you." And that's how I become a superhero. She wants to be appreciated and recognized. Now, most of housewives, despite of how hard they work, they feel like they have not accomplished anything in life, and my wife was no exception. Even though she graduated from one of the top universities in Korea, she was down on herself. So I asked her, if you ask any successful person why they work so hard, most of them will tell you to be happy and to have security. And I told her, because of you, our whole family already have happiness and security. So you have accomplished more than any of us. And I always thank her for giving me such a wonderful kid. And I thank her for raising my kids to be more than what I wished for. And that wasn't easy. And as her family, we always gave her a round of applause for her cooking and her baking. And we all sit around praising about her food and a lot of laughters. She wants us to be a soulmate. I know a lot of people who think they married a wrong person. But let's face it, there is no such a thing as soulmate. The soulmate is always in progress. Now, because ladies are more devoted to a one person than us guys, we really have to train ourselves. And I intentionally trained myself to fix my gaze and compliment only my wife no matter where we are. And I always tell her how she changed my life for the better. And I tell her I would even hate to think about living the rest of my life with anybody else. And one time I told my wife, if I had 100 lives to live, I want to live with her for 99 lives, and last one life I want to live alone. And she asked me why. So I told her, I want to live alone thinking about you and miss you so I could cherish our relationship. And she went, She said, I want all 100. So what do you want for your kids? I know what I want. I want them to live their life happy in a house full of love and lots of laughters.